Giles, somewhat reassured but still cautious, prepared to follow Scout wherever he was going to lead him. It did seem rather curious that the new settlers were able to move about the planet's surface, not just unmolested by the local wildlife, but it was actually friendly towards the new inhabitants. Scout then turned about and slowly, using his stick as a prop, edged his way down the slope that Calypso was resting atop. Rather than risk a fall, Giles decided it would be sensible to follow suit, removed a collapsible metal stick from his supplies. The stick seemed to intrigue Scout somewhat, although he made no comment about it. This time he did regard it closely before turning back to the trail. Whether the look was about the collapsible construction, or that it was made out of metal, Giles couldn't rightly discern. Once at the bottom of the slope, Giles looked more closely at the soil, which, other than where the shrubs and bushes seemed to grow, was covered with lichen or some similar algae-based life form. Giles bent down to study this, and in doing so could discern the tracks of some small animals on the plants and somewhat heavier footprints of Scout. Soil moss grows everywhere outside. Any time you turn over soil, in a few weeks it's covered again in soil moss. Farmers tell me, were it not for them to tend crops with so much effort, it would grow inside as well. But farmers always tell you how hard they work. Scout smiled as he said this, seemed to Giles sharing some kind of in-joke with him. The soil moss did seem to add a curious biodiversity to the ecosystem. Rather than grasses being the staple of bare soil, it appeared that soil moss was the first colonizer, then had to cover the ground quite rapidly to prevent other plants colonizing. Either that or have some method of preventing other plants from competing it. The planet was bound to have a wide variety of challenges and opportunities. Certainly studying the settlers and the native inhabitants of Hope could be a lifetime's work in itself. Still, Giles spent enough time at the moment regarding the soil moss. Scout was giving him what he perceived to be a look of mild impatience. Giles straightened up, prepared to follow him, when out of the corner of the eye he spotted something like a gecko scuttling across the soil moss, and then it clambered up one of the nearby bushes. "Ah, now you will see how friendly things are here." Scout seemed to be pointing towards the gecko creature. "Please put your arm and place your hand just below him and see what happens." Giles, a little uncertainly, prepared to do as he was told. As he was getting nearer to the creature, he noticed, unlike a gecko, this creature had 2 rows of teeth, which appeared to be quite sharp at the front. I was sure that the creature couldn't do him any serious harm to him with a bite. It would certainly be enough to break the surface of the skin. Possibly could introduce poison or bacteria into his system. He was, however, reassured by the actions of Scout, who, after all, should know better than anyone what animals were safe to interact with. So, after a little hesitation, Giles moved his hand to where he'd been instructed.